Hello everyone, welcome back to our SAP HCM interview series. So in the last session, we have discussed about around 50 plus questions we have discussed. I hope if you have not watched that video, I will recommend to watch the series one or the part one of this video series. Then you can come here. And if you are not part of the community, I will recommend to join my community on the link which I have given in this video. Otherwise, I will just let you know that you can join directly from here. So this is all in one link. And if you're not part of any of my community, if you're not part of any of the membership, you can join either of this membership. And the SAP HCM is available in my level one because it's the entry point for most of the students at all, or any HR professional who would like to join into the HR technology track. So you will be getting SAP HCM on-premise as well as the assessment lab for SAP HCM plus basic fundamental of success factors. So this is the three packages, those packages included, all at a price of 12,000 at present as we speak. Or otherwise, you can also be part of my VIP group here. You can see that, join my VIP group in Facebook or Telegram channel, whatever you want. If you have not subscribed the channel, you can also subscribe in other. Everything is given here in this one particular link. Right. So now, without any delay, let's go back to the interview series. We were discussing that question number 54 today. Is there any other way to transport the changes made in PPOCE, or shall I do that manually in every system? Right. So I have only created root organization unit with the same object ID in all systems. This is also an interesting question. So during the implementation, generally, you will be getting such kind of stuff, right? So yes, so as per the answer suggests, you can go with the business consultant. Otherwise, you can go for create a transport request in there, and you can go to ask for business consultant to transport them to your quality and production once it is done. So this is a very generic questions. Now we have I need to execute one scenario. Coordinators will try to book one employee for one business event, but on that day he will be on leave. That should be the process in case I need to see that person is not there. So they are talking about a particular transaction called BSD1. Okay, so this is something I have never used most of the time. So basically, it's not directly part of your OMPA model. This is something related to training and event management model. So you can look into it. Yes, so that can look on. So the next one is what is the difference between PCR and CAP? Okay, so this is a very interesting question. So PCR, which you are already familiar if you have attended my payroll sessions, right? I talked a lot about the PCR. Okay. But what is the CAP? Okay, so this is something for collective agreement provision. So this is something whenever you are having any kind of a contract or any kind of legal rules happens, right? So then we can define those things here. So it is a kind of agreement for different groups of employee category or employee groups who would be eligible for what kind of benefits, those pay scale structures and everything, right? So those things you will be getting from this. So this is something you will be getting from the CAP. So PCR, again, this is a personal calculation rules. These are the different conditions we write inside a schema. So these are something completely different. There's no direct relationship between them. So you can inherit in this way, right? So CAP will be having certain categories, certain components, right? But PCR is something depending upon your organization, your HR payroll requirement. Again, you have to configure that. We can customize that as for our need in the projects, right? So that is the difference in making out of it. How do you run payroll? This is a very much standard questions, right? We have to always. So I think they have missed the transition code here. You can tell the transition code. Okay, so if you're running for Indian payroll, you can tell them PC00 underscore M2P underscore CALC, that the respective steps you can tell. This is generic steps they have given, like one of the steps generally we follow in SPHCM on-premise. But whenever if you're using employee central payroll or cloud payroll, then these are actually done in the backend. You don't have to remember those steps automatically. There are some one-click payroll, click payroll. So we will be created into that. So you don't have to worry. So our next question is, how do you correct payroll? This is again depending upon your scenario. So there is no right and wrong answer. So you have to always be familiar about you have to familiarize yourself with the payroll log, how to check the payroll log and how to see those answers, what the issues they are, right? So you can see that. So that is something most commonly asked questions. And they may ask, interviewer may ask, what are the challenges you have faced during the payroll run? What are the types of issues you have faced? How do you resolve that? So those are the most frequently asked questions, which I'm just giving from my experience. Then next one is, if you want to include more waste types, then how do you do that? Definitely, you have to create a new waste type, isn't it? Right. So you have to create a new waste type as per your requirement. OS 11, transaction code, or any other courses, whatever you follow from SPRO, also you can go for that. Then next question is all about payroll area. So what is the definition of a payroll area? Why will you create a payroll area? What are the use cases of a payroll area? So basically, so whenever you are having a payroll area, that indicates specifically for whom you are running a payroll at the same time, the same frequency. Suppose if you are running payroll for, let's say, for monthly payroll, or you're having a bi-weekly payroll, and all the people who belong to that category of this, all the payroll must be run for the same time. Yeah. So what they are saying, payroll can be run separately for different employee groups using different payroll area. Definitely. So this is also true. So if you are having different employee group and if you want to have they want to run differently. So you can use different payroll area because every payroll area the employee belongs to the same, depends upon your org assignment again. Okay, so people who belong to employees who belong to different company board can also be grouped in the same payroll area. So this is very interesting. So which you have to understand. But as for the best practice, less is more. Okay. So you don't have to, although SAP gives an option, but the best practice, you should have minimum number of payroll area as much as possible, just to practice that. Right. So this is something my favorite. So you can highlight this thing in your notes. Employees who belong to different company code can then be grouped in the same payroll area or not. So this is something which you can make a note of it in your notes. This is one thing. Another thing is the payroll area can be run separately for different employee groups. Right. So that is also you can highlight. Okay. So the less is more, as I was saying, right? So we can make a note here saying we will make a note here. Let's say in this section. This is our running notes in the Kindle. So that is I really like it. This particular functionality in Kindle. So we can make a note. This is more. And why this principle? Best practice, SAP best practice is to have minimum number of payroll area. That is one thing. So we can make a note like that. And later on, if you want to refer, you can see it in your notebook. Less is more. So this is the way I generally prefer to learn something if I want to. So I'll just type the notebook. So now the next one is what is meant by the control record. So you cannot miss this question. So this is something we say, and there is in my video sessions also many times I call it the payroll control record. This is the heart of your payroll, right? So this is something very important. All the activities are controlled from here, and all the statuses of the payroll also has been maintained from here. And the transition code for this is PA03. But if you're running it from your cloud payroll system, like your Request Central payroll and all, you do not have to change it manually. So automatically this will be done. But anyway, you have all the options available with you. So as I will say, so the note here will be, I will make it note here. This is your heart of your payroll. So these are certain keywords I will take. part of payroll, that is your payroll control record, right? So now the next one is very interesting questions, which all the SAP payroll consultant must know. What is meant by retroactive accounting, right? So they have not given any example, but whenever you're answering this question during an interview, you have to give an example. So I'll be giving an example here. Let's say you are having your payroll, you are running for, so currently you are in the month of June, right? So let's say you want to do some changes in your master data with effective from April. Let's say you got an increment, or if it's effective from April, you got a promotion or increment, any kind of thing. So you have to change, let's say, those data and with effective from April 2022, and your master data, let's say it will be changed from April. Then those data, but you are currently in the month of June 2022, and you are running the payroll for the June, and at the end of the June, you are running the payroll. Then those master data, whatever you have changed in the effective from April, those will be reflected in the month of June, right? June payroll. So then those data, whatever you have changed in the month of April, those increment you will be getting in a retroactive manner. So that is the concept of retroactive. It is just a mask, not only the payroll, anything. Let's say you are having any kind of a leave, you are having a leave without pay, and you got a that was got deducted in your previous salary, but you applied for a leave and now that all it was approved. Then that you can also you can change, and that will be getting that money back in your current month. So there can be multiple scenarios. So whenever you are explaining during your interview, just justify your, it is not only the theoretical answer, the definition, just like in academic way. You should be also able to give an example so that you are understanding. So interviewer will be happy that you understood the real concept with an example, right? So I will always recommend. And the info type 3 is in my videos, I always explain with an example how those records get changed. With that also you can explain. You can also expect a question from that area also. So info type 3 is very much close to this particular concept, right? So that you can. Okay. So now the next question. How do you create a custom info type? What is the number range for customer specific input types, right? Yes, so there is a transition code called PM01, definitely that you can explore. There is also there are different blogs around it, how to create a custom input type in the SAP community network. Definitely you will be getting, I will just let me pull it out for you, how to create a custom input type. So I have seen very good blogs for this. So you can see that custom HCM, I think this is the one. Yes. If it is not visible clearly, then we can prefer something else. This is something time constraint, not due to this. Let's check it out. Otherwise, official SAP wiki you can follow. So this is most reliable. So you can see the step-by-step options they have given, but the thing is they have not given any screenshot, right? So there are 28 steps. You can see, okay? So these are the steps you can follow to create a custom info type, okay? So that you can follow. So you may create a blog for this and create populists accordingly, right? So that's the way. I will recommend this SAP official wiki blog you follow to create a custom info types, right? And you can say you're learning also, right? Now let's move to the next one. Yes. PM01 and the officially this number range, because there is a number range 9,000 to 9,000, 4 times 9, that is the number range for all the customer specific input types. You may be asked what are the input types, custom input types you have created in your organizations, right? So that also you can explain here. Now let's move to the next question. What are the data types and how many data types? So this is again related to time management module. Okay, so as we discuss here, let's go to that. How many data types exist, what are they, how do you configure that, right? So this is a purely time management question. So basically, we do have of paid, of unpaid, of special days. So there are certain number for that. The daily work schedule, DWS means daily work schedule in that configuration you'll be getting. And these things are configured in already discussed in my time management model. If you want, you can see it in my community, in my learning management system. You can see that whole detailed video. But from understanding point of view, you will be having this 4 to 9. These are the customer specific other data types. Suppose any specific data types you want to create and a custom one, then you can mention that. Okay, so that you can highlight. I'm just highlighting it for you. Right. And the next one is the counting rule. So this is again depending upon your requirement. You can create your different counting absences, special attendance accordingly, and you can utilize those counting rule. This is again a configuration question, so which you can easily answer. The next one is what is an absence? It's a very straightforward question. I will not be spending much time here. What is absence type? What is how do we configure absences? Right. What is an absence quota type? So these are all very straightforward questions. You can answer them. Then next one is what are the features you used in the benefits, right? So this is something related to the benefits module. So again, you may not expect this question in your going if you're appearing an interview for generic HCM. This is something specialized. So in the benefits module, you'll be getting all this things. 60, 169, 170, 171, 172, we have a different info types. And specifically for US, we have all these things, health plans. If you configure any health plan, how do we configure that? They do have a medical plan, they do have a dental plan, right? So all the things you'll be getting from here. What are the most important input types in benefits, right? So these are a series of input types. Okay, so 168, 169, 170, 279, 236, 277, 603. Okay. So this we can explain. What is the feature used for PA? This is not a right question exactly. What groups will be using that? So, okay. So this feature you can try it out. That is the pinch feature. You can try that. What are the input types used in NumCur? Okay, so it is for defaulting. Okay, NumCur is number range. How you define that? Right. So next one is an applicant group. This is for a recruiting module. Okay, so that is for a not very frequently I have seen people use it, but there is a concept. We have an applicant group, what is an applicant class, okay, what is unsolicited applicant group. We can refer this one, right? Then next one is a key code for authorization. So this is the PHC. They talk about the PHC transition, and you can also want to create new users. SL01. If you do not have any access to this, then you can go for ask the SAP basis person to do it for you. Right. Next one is an interesting question: difference between payroll area and pay scale area. So the payroll area we have already discussed. Now we have one of the questions, right? Where the group of employees for whom the payroll is run together, that is your payroll area. But when it comes to the pay scale area, it will be a geographical groupings, okay, or a group of employees for whom a particular cap is collective agreement, that one is applicable, right? That you can cover it under pay scale area. Okay. Now the next one is which characteristics does a day with a day type one have? So it's often paid. So this is again a time related question. Then next one is can a posting run be deleted? Yes, I have done a lot of times. So whenever if you are facing any challenges in related to the data, some due to some XYZ reason, your payroll posting is something not correct. Definitely you have to do it before you do a bank transfer. Otherwise, there is a lot of mismatch. So we don't want that to be in any payroll system. So basically, you have to delete that. So basically, you can reverse it. Okay, but once the bank transfer is done, it needs to be adjusted. Suppose, let's say you identified that already bank transfer is done, but some mistake is there, then you don't have any choice. So that you have to do it for the next payroll. So that is the idea. So depending upon your scenario, if it is before the bank transfer or it is after the bank transfer. Then next question is, what are the activities possible when the payroll control record is set to the released for pay, right? So whenever the status is released for payroll, you cannot make any change to the master data. Okay, so it is that's the concept here, which is a common feature for your payroll control record, right? Now, the next question is in this section, what activities are possible? So this is already we have discussed. How does the system know when to trigger retroactive accounting for a particular employee? Yeah, so this is again taken care from the input type 3, as we have discussed earlier. So you have to mention that in your input type 3. Okay, otherwise, it will take the hiring date, earliest hiring date. Now, the next question is it possible to branch directly from the payroll log to the master data and time data maintenance? Yes, you can do that. It's not a very tricky question. It's a very just stunning question. Now, the next question is how to create payroll area, basic types and levels for different employee group and subgroup. So this is something I do not like, this kind of a question. This is something a configuration question. So if your interview is providing access to the SAP system, then you can definitely show it. But I never remember all these things, right? I really have to, if you can remember, but I do not like this kind of a question to be asked in the question. Definitely, if you are doing a hands-on, definitely can show it here. But still, I have seen people, companies ask this kind. I will not name the company, but from my experience in my initial days, I have seen this kind of question. But it's not a very intelligent question to be asked to the aspirants. Now, so this is something your scenario-based question and this problem at work. On the slide, new jobs are there, but when you check new type, doesn't pull through. We tried updates with the LSMW as a program, try to just run this, not work. I will record a log here, which is on. Where can we check or what can we do? This is something a real-time process, real-time scenario question. So I think it is related to workflow process. Either of one or another only, it could be a services skills, this is skills, jobs. I don't like, I didn't understand what they have answered it. Okay, but again, depends upon the scenario. If you have to clarify from the interview what exactly this question is not 100% understandable, right? Maybe you need more clarifications. The next one is where can you see the integration is switch on over a table? Answer. It is yes, log the order. So that is a switch. If it is X in the table T77S0, then your integration switch is on between OM and PA. If it is not, then the integration is off. Next one is a UZR. So user group basically where exactly can find out. So again a configuration question. This kind of question ideally it should not be asked in the interview because somebody, if you're providing access to this aspirant, it is perfectly fine. But if it is not, who will be remembering that auto primary, not path. Definitely if you're a hands-on person, you can show it. The next question goes like this: how can you give absence quotas for a group of employees? Right. So definitely you will be there a particular report. So this report you can remember RPTQTA 00. Yeah. Next question is the creation of a waste type. How to create a waste type? You can tell the path, or otherwise you can tell the transition OS level. Next question is I have to code with the window where it asks for evaluation for I want to generate reports. There are specific transactions, but it is practically not possible to remember all these things. So all the things you will be getting in your SAP Easy Access menu map, right? But I'm not a believer of remembering all this stuff, right? So if you can give an access to SAP system, then I can definitely show you. But yeah. Next question, how to find the UZR of a country. So this is again a question related to your configurations path. So you can, if you're having access to the system, you can show me that particular UZR of a country. You can show this path and you can do you want to know the country grouping longer? Okay, so again, yeah. So this is again from user profile of right? So this is something again repetitive question for anywhere to transfer changes. It's a repetitive question. I'm not skipping this. Next question is again, this is a repetitive question. ESV1. Following terms: staffing status, staffing percentage, percentage approved, percentage reward. So this is a very straightforward question. So basically, if a person is 100% staffing is 100% working in a particular role, then it will be 100% approved. the staffing percentage are there. So this is all these things we get in the table, HR 2001, right? So that you can explore. Then this question is related to your custom input type, I believe. So something is incident related question. Yeah, and definitely. So all the custom input type must start with 9 series. Okay, the 9,029 9999. That series. Now the next question is: we are in the service industry, have employees working in multiple cities on the same day. The system seems to allow only one taxing authority, but the existing taxing authority should be for the service order ideally. This is a very interesting question. So let's see. Yes, yeah. So this is something related to your US payroll. You can see that you can create multiple input types in your 208 work tax area for the same employee on the same day because it is allowed. And you can, there is an option for allocation. This is not applicable for all other countries. Wherever it is possible, it is there. And there is no integration, however, between time and work tax area. You copy this input type to 208 or default tax area, and this can be used to store multiple work tax area. This is something relatively tricky, which you can see. It is not applicable for all the country payroll, again, for US and all. Then next question is related to the time management again. So we have we use a clocking machine with this and store in a flat file, and which is to be uploaded to SAP when you try to open using this open data set and you run a command. The size of RC value. So this is a little technical. So this is as an ABAP, I can say that this is we in the ABAP core we use it. 8 and error messages. This is file is not found. File is in the correct location. Yes, right. Okay, so this is something a technical question. So you can see there is a code for it, and they have tried to the syntax, maybe the syntax is wrong and something like that. So to ensure, we have to check the path and the parameters are correct or not. You can check the function. Okay, and so syntax has been given. So you can, if you want, you can take help. You can a functional consultant watching this video. You can take help from technical consultant from ABAP. Next one is we want to copy an org structure from one plan variant to another. This copy should include all assignments like this purchasing groups to operation with PAPM. Can we do this? Make sure the plan number just covers to it. Okay, so this is something not very frequently used in the organization, but yeah, so still if you are using this kind of the concept, you can try this option. So there are different types of plan also. So here they talk about active plan. And now let's look for today. We will stop at the question number 100. Then the remaining one we will discuss in the next next episode of our movie. So we are having a question. We have a requirement to calculate the leave entitlement for the anniversary year, not the calendar year. The leaves have both paid and unpaid components. The paid component is based on the time work. The unpaid is based on the number of years of service. So it's a little tricky question since your scenario-based question. Leave taken is reduced from both entitlements depending on those requests. We are using a schema. What is the best way to handle this? Okay, so they have given a very nice explanations. So I have not used this one much in my projects, but yeah, there is a field they are saying BAUR. So for seniority based vacation entitlement, this particular feature, right? Then time what is not a part of the feature here, these things. However, you may create a own source code. Yeah, definitely you have to take. I have also taken help from ABAP. So if you want to have something custom and include it, right? So if something doesn't belong to the feature, what you can do. So as a functional consultant, if something is not there in the feature, you cannot do anything. So you have to definitely depend upon your ABAP, right? And they are saying to use this, check this particular feature and check it out. So for today, we will stop here. In the next session, we will be talking, we will be discussing from just like this, we will be discussing a few more questions related to go interview questions from 101 onwards, right? And if you want to buy this book, and this is the book link I'll be giving you, if you're watching it from YouTube or any other social media, I'll be giving a link. That will be my affiliate link. And if you're watching it from my platform, there also I'll be sharing the link. So thank you for watching this. We will continue with the next interview, the third episode tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining in. And just to, as I would recommend, all the answers do not follow directly from here. You think your own way and you try to answer them in your own way. Okay, you can post this answer in my platform. So I will stop you. Thank you very much for joining in.